Hello, hello, hello! It's a new episode of Let's Linux. I call this one... Let me just bring up my little lolban terminal here. I call it polymedia monocontrol. This would probably need some width. Bada boom! Alright. Let's make a PBK also. I know I should have prepared this, but it's live, it's real, it's Budrich, it's Let's Linux. So, in this episode I have been talking about this for a while and I have tried to make this video, but some weird stuff keep happening every time I try to record this one. But this is actually one of my absolute favorite things that I have kind of did in customization wise, and I have done a lot of customization things on my desktop. But this we will, we have created this polybar hook module that displays the currently playing track in cmus. If I change the track, it changes the display up there, and if we would play a video, it will display the title of that video, as we can see here now. And if I pause the video, it goes black or gray, and if I close it, then it reverts back to the cmus title. So the polybar hook module, it is complete. I am happy with this. The missing part of the puzzle here, missing piece, is to be able to control both players with the same key bindings. If you're not really sure what I mean here, please watch this video. As I said, this is, I really enjoy using this, and it's great, and it's also very easy to achieve this. We can see here my key bindings in i3 here. This is what I have now to toggle music. Mod 4 and slash. It sends cmus remote pause here, and that toggles play and pause. But you can see I have commented out my original key binding here, which executes media control and sends toggle to that. Let's have a look at that script. We'll pause the music again. This is how media control looks like. And we did pass toggle to it in this case, or in one case. And when we do, it checks here if player is cmus, then it executes cmus remote. If it is mpv, then it sends the command to the FIFO that we created a couple of videos back. I think in the queue up files in mpv. I will link all related videos in the show notes. And if we would pass next, then it, you see it's very easy to read this script here, and it looks really simple. But how does it get this player? I define it here at the top. The variable player is equal to the output of who's playing, which is another script. And that script, I thought we would create it from scratch in this video. It is not complicated at all, but there are some things we need to do. I have written down here how we will proceed in this video. We will use the output from the command pactl list sync inputs. And with that output we will create an array looking something like this. And when we have that array, it's easy for us to choose which player we want to control. And we will use this priority list here. So let's first talk a bit about this pactl list sync inputs command. I think I will do this. Sorry. Pactl, that's a command that I think you get it from when you install pulseaudio, or pulseaudio is probably already installed in most distributions. love it or don't love it and use something else in such case. But I actually think, you know, it's the same guy who have made pulseaudio and systemd, which get a lot of hate, and both of them get a lot of hate, I think. But pulseaudio, it's more quiet about that, because I actually think that pulseaudio, it works quite well and it does some cool things. And I will not talk anything about Linux software. I think it's quite cool that it's one guy who have made two of those programs. Be them good or not, they are probably the most used programs in the whole Linux software thing. Or maybe not, you know, bash is also a program and cd is a program, but whatever, sidetrack. So pactl, if you just run it without any arguments, you get nothing. Then I guess there is some help command maybe. Yeah, and you can run it with a lot of options and stuff. If you run it with the command list, then it will spit out a lot of output here about your sound, your sound setup, your sound cards, the available outputs, the available options, inputs, outputs, programs that are emitting sound, and everything. This list contains everything you would possibly need to figure out what's going on with your sounds system, so to speak. But we can narrow that list in different ways. If I just enter something random here, then I think I will get, these are the list modes that you can type in: modules, sinks, sources, sinks input, source outputs, blah blah blah. If you write sync inputs, then you will only get the applications and information about those. Right now, cmus is the only application, audio application that is, we can call it, it's hooked up to pulseaudio. But cmus is paused right now, and when a program is paused but it's still connected to the audio server, then it's this field corked is equal to yes, and this is another important field, application.process.binary, that is the binary that is connected, and it's cmus. We could also open mpv here. Let's move it there. And now mpv is playing, but cmus is paused. If I run this again now we can see mpv here, because process binary mpv. We can see corked is no. So this is, when corked is no, then it is receiving audio information from that soft program. But here we can see corked is yes from cmus. And they are divided in sections here, this list, by sync input 23 is this sync input called, and this is 27. So all of this belongs to mpv and all of this belongs to cmus. But basically all we need is to know this cork status and to know which players are available at all. So to do that, we parse this output with my favorite program. Do you know which program I'm thinking of? You're right, it is awk, AWK. It is my favorite program. Alright, and here we can write if $1 is equal to application.process.binary, print $2. So now it will print the process binary name if $1 is equal to process application process binary. We can test this. We can test it in this window. Who's playing? this should now display a list with 2 items, the cmus and mpv. We got an error. Yeah, we need to put this in quotes, otherwise Awk doesn't understand what I'm trying to do. And we get 2 equal signs. Yeah, because print second field, and second field here is an equal sign. The third field is which we want to print. So we could write either this, and now we get cmus mpv, but we could also write nf to print the last field. They will result in exactly the same thing. Okay, part 1. We also wanted to know the cork status of them, and you can see here this is where I want to go. I want to create an array with the name of the players as keys, with a cork value as value for the array elements. But let's start with searching for this cork thing. We see if the first field is equal to corked with a capital C and a colon. Then we store the second field in a temporary variable. We can call it current cork, and that is equal to $2. And this will just add $2 here to a variable called current cork. And then we could do something like this. Those equal signs there, they are just to separate the output here. You will see current cork. And now if I run this command, now we see cmus. Yes, cmus is corked, mpv is not corked, meaning mpv is the player that is playing sound. To create this array here, there are different approaches, but I have kind of really starting to use eval a lot, especially to use output from awk. It's really good for that. It saves you a lot of lines and key presses, and that is good. So we just make awk print out this text that looks like these arrays, and then these array elements, and then we eval it, and then we will create that array. So something like player, I think I want to call the array players, by the way. And the key should be nf, which is the last field of application process binary. Then we do this and this. And then we remove this part. Now, if we look at the output, we get this. It looks almost like this. So now I should be able to just eval this thing here, and that should create the array. But that is not 100% true, because I think this is the first time we create arrays that look like this. Normally I do arrays that look something like array and then an integer as the key, and the first element is normally 0 and then 1 and then so on. And I think these arrays are called indexed arrays when it's integer based like this. But when you use strings for the names of the keys, then you have to declare the array, because they are different types, these two arrays. And Bash doesn't understand what it is if we don't declare it as an associative array, which an array with strings for key identifiers is called associative array. And you declare it by using the command declare, then -a, and then the name of the array, like this. Now we just need to eval this thing here. Like this. And now if I run the script, nothing happens, but it has actually created the array here now. So now we can loop this array that we got for k in players at bing bong bang echo $k. Let's see what we get when we run the command now. Now it prints MPV and cmus, and that is the keys of the array. And it prints the keys because I added this exclamation mark here before the name of the array. If we would remove this exclamation mark and run it again, then it will print the value of each element of the array. So, and this is the big benefit of using associative arrays, that you can look at the keys and use and give the name of the keys special meaning. Of course, indexed arrays, they have different benefits. Then you can use math to enter different keys. But now this is perfect. We can also, even if we output the key or access the key with the key name, we can of course access the value by doing something like this. Could add some. Now it says the key name and the content of the element with that key. I hope you're following. And now we can look at my priority list here in what player we want to return. Because remember, this is the media control. We just assign the player variable here, the output of who's playing. And who's playing is the script we're writing here. And we want that to output the name of the player we want to control. And the player we want to control is the player that emits sound, of course. That is the one we want to control. And the player that emits sound is the player that is not corked. So if the value of the array element is no, then that player is emitting sound. So we could do something like this. If players $k is equal to no, then we can call it target is equal to $k, and then we can do an echo target here somewhere. We can do it here. Echo targets. So now if I run this, it prints MPV. And if I would pause MPV and play music here in cmus instead, then it will print cmus, because that is the program emitting sound. If I pause cmus here now and whoops, MPV is also paused. If I run who's playing now, we just get an empty line, because target here, nothing is assigned to it, because no element is not corked. So then we have to look at the next here in our list, because if both players are corked or no one is playing sound, then my priority list here tells me that I want MPV as the player, but only if MPV is visible. And we created some scripts in a couple of videos ago. I think I called that video "Focus is Visible." We created one script that's called getVisible, and that can be used by specifying what we want to search for, the class -c, and then for example MPV here. If MPV is visible, it will print out the container ID of MPV. But if MPV wouldn't be visible, then we don't get anything. So this is a very easy way, now when we have this script, to see if MPV is visible. So we do we do like this, I think. If -z target, and that is this variable. You know, if no player is not corked, then target will be empty, and then this will be true, and then it will enter this if statement here. Then we do a new if here. If -n get visible -c-mpv. If this contains a value, meaning mpv is visible, then this is true with the -n here. And if that is true, then target is equal to mpv. But if it isn't visible, then we continue on our list here. Then I want cmus as target, but only if cmus is actually running. So we do an else if -n pid of cmus. And you know, this will pid of cmus. That prints out the process ID of cmus. But if cmus wouldn't be running, then this would be empty and this would be false. Then target is equal to cmus. But if that also is false, then we check if mpv is running, the last on my priority list here. Pid of mpv. Then target is equal to mpv. If this isn't running either, then I don't really know what else we can write. Target is equal to not available or something like that. So now both players are corked. If I run who's playing now, we get cmus because mpv is not visible. If mpv would be visible and we run who's playing, it echoes mpv. If cmus is playing music, now I'm turning on the music, but mpv is visible. That's right. It pauses as soon as mpv gets focused. It pauses cmus. That is from the listener script. So this is true. We need to have cmus and mpv visible at the same time. Let's do this. And now if I play music and mpv is visible, who's playing? It's still cmus because that is one playing music. And if mpv would be playing, mpv is target. So everything seems to work here, and this is actually almost good enough. But there is one thing we have to make sure of, and that is if I would be in playing music from, for example, Vivaldi here, my web browser, or maybe some other program, a game, or there are other programs playing music. Now this is emitting sound, and if I run who's playing now, it returns Vivaldi. And I don't know a way to control Vivaldi. Maybe I could mute it, but that's not really what I'm after here. So I want to ignore all other programs except mpv and cmus, because those are the only ones we control here from media control. To do this, we can add here when it finds the application process binary in the list here, which either is mpv or cmus. We can be sure here, because now if I play music here and run that sync inputs, now we should see, yeah, Vivaldi binary here. We see that also in the list. So if we create an if statement here before we print out what's going to be the array element, we can do this if nf, which is the last field, and that is for here Vivaldi bin. It could also be mpv and cmus. If that contains, and then I write / mpv or cmus, and here you could add more players, maybe ncmp cpp, maybe Spotify, I don't know, it's up to you, but it's not much harder than this to modify this script. Save, and now even if I'm playing music here now and running who's playing, we still get mpv, because now it sees as both of these are corked, but mpv at least is visible. And now this script is good enough, and we can try it out by executing media control here. And we do that by changing the key binding here in i3 to super and slash. That should execute media control with a toggle argument. If I save here and reload i3, and then you can see here in the bottom right corner, when I press super slash, then it should start playing mpv, because that is visible. For some reason it moved it down here, but that doesn't really matter because it's playing now. If I hit super slash again, it pauses mpv. If I hit super slash again, it keeps on playing. If I hit super slash again and open this, now it should start playing cmus, and it does. If I pause, it pauses. If also cmus would be, if none of them would be visible, it should still choose cmus, because that has priority over mpv if none of them are visible. And it plays music here now. If mpv is visible, now it plays mpv. So this is really nice. I can't tell you how much I like this. And if I would open one more video here now in mpv, that is queued up. I can select the next, well, let's enable those media controls also here. So instead of cmus remote prevent next, we use media control prevent next on bracket left and right. I save and I reload i3. If I pause here, play pause now, it pauses mpv. It plays mpv. If I take next, it goes to the next video. Previous here in mpv, that doesn't work like in cmus. There is probably some way to go to the previous video, but it actually just goes to the beginning of the current video. No, maybe it worked. I think it worked. And here for some reason it changed track in Vivaldi, so that changed, but whatever. And if this would be hidden, if I go to next here now, and it should change track in now it changed track in mpv, because that was playing even if it wasn't visible. It was still emitting sound here. I think I might have actually opened the same there. You can see this is white and it says Foxy Focus. That is the name of the file we are playing in mpv. It's this file, and we know it's playing because it's white. If I would press super and bracket right here now, that should go to the next either track or video, and it will choose mpv now. Even if it isn't visible, it will still control that, since that is the player that is playing audio. So if I do super bracket right, we can see it changed here to the next video in mpv. If I would pause mpv here now, and if I hit super and slash again, it would start playing music, because now, yeah, Quite simple, but oh so nice this is. I really hope you try this out. It's really easy to set up. And I will add like this section of my i3 config to the show notes and to the GitHub, and also the scripts here, who's playing and media control. We could also add here, we will not do that in this video, but I think you know, understand how to do it. If player here would be NA, which it is if none of the players are running at all, then we could start cmus, for example, and yeah, whatever. You can extend this, and you can just change these media players to different players. Then you maybe have to modify the commands a bit, but I think you understand how it works now. And you could change all of these parts. You could exchange polybar for i3 blocks or something, and it wouldn't be a big problem to customize these scripts and stuff we have made in this video series. I'm really happy with this media control thing. It have made my life much easier, because now I don't by mistake toggle play and pause in the wrong media player. I have freed up, like this section would be twice as big if I didn't have media control. I would need to make 2 of these, each of these, and so on. Highly recommend you try this out. You will get it's so nice. I say thank you for watching. Maybe I should mention here what I got in the pipeline, so to speak. I would like to talk a bit about my audio output things here, or I have output and input control, and they are also hook modules. And here you can see it's a USB symbol. That's because my USB sound card is active, and I can actually switch this sound card with just a hotkey here, and then it will switch to the internal sound card immediately, and things like that. That is really also something that I'm really happy with the result, how it turned out, and it have made my life easier. But I don't think I want to do that in the next video. It becomes so much of the same here. And also I have a lot of things that I would like to do beside videos. I am currently in an education. Believe it or not, I am studying .NET development. But of course I'm doing as much as I can on Linux. But I have to make my final project in that course now, so I don't think the videos will be this advanced, but I will try to add at least one video a week, and I have had some requests about, for example, Compton and transparency on Windows, and you can see my Windows blinks when I activate them. That is Compton related, kind of. We will talk a bit. I will make a video about that, I thought, and also my prompt and my shell. Yeah, you can see it here. How I have done this so it displays the execution time of the commands, and yeah, some nice small settings of you can do to your shell. Thought we could talk a bit about that also. But and another thing, I think I need to dig into my i3 or more or less my whole i3s suite of scripts. But I would really like to refactor my i3 script here. I think I can make this half as long, half as many lines. Yeah, it's almost exactly 1,000 lines now. I think I can get down to 500 lines on this script, and that would be nice to do. So that's the thing I'm thinking about, and just increasing stability, because I think some people have started using it. Sorry, I don't remember your name now on YouTube, but I got some comments about a guy who tried this out, and there were some warts and bugs in it. It works for me, but even for me, sometimes, you know, you have seen it in the videos, the windows pops out and the float toggle isn't perfect and such. So I would like to just spend a couple of days, maybe a week, with my whole i3S suite and try to refactor it at least. But also another goal I have that I really should complete is to make a package out of i3S, so we at least can install it from AUR and maybe other package managers too, because it's such a simple, it's all bash script, so it's actually very easy to create packages for this. And if I just can make it really good, readable, testable, and with as few bugs as possible, but it's actually working very well for me. So I think if I spend a week or two on this, then we can have a package for it. So that's a couple of things that I will do. So don't count on more than one video a week, but you never know. But I will really try to make at least one, and maybe two someday. We'll see. But I have some stuff going on here. I say thank you so much, and also we're soon 500 subscribers, and I'm that's really cool. I can't tell you how glad I am about that. I think it's really nice, and maybe I do something special when we get to 500 subscribers. Maybe I just don't do that, but I would like to do something cool. Thank you everybody for watching the Let's Linux series. Have a great day. It's May. Soon. Bye.